We're on in 5, 4...
When the clock struck 6, it meant one thing for Ron Burgundy and his news team. Go time.
Channel 4 News with 5-time Emmy Award-winning anchor, Ron Burgundy.
Channel 4 News team. Erik Slayter. Kristin Moran. Stevil. Stacey Westenberger. Evan Epstein, a reporter in the
It's Channel 4 News at 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight. What you're about to see is a Channel 4 News exclusive.
We turn our attention to the recent Disney-Pixar merger. Let's find out a little bit more about the companies, what the Disney and Pixar characters have to say.
Hi, my name's Mickey Mouse, and I work for Disney. Mr. Walt Disney founded Disney in October 16th of 1923. Today, we're one of the largest movie studios in the world. We have 11 theme parks, several TV networks, including ABC. 2006 revenues were more than $34 billion. We also own TV stations like ESPN, Lifetime, and E!
In 1923, Walt Elias Disney arrived in California from Kansas City. He brought with him his first animated feature, Alice in Wonderland. Walt partnered up with his brother Roy and became equal partnerships in a venture called Walt Disney Studios. Walt made Alice comedies for 4 years, but he realized he needed a stronger character. This is when he thought up Mickey. At first his name was Mortimer, but his wife suggested it should be changed to Mickey. Initially, people didn't really like this new mouse character, but then Walt made his first production with Mickey in it called Steamboat Willie. This was the first animation where characters were speaking. The audience loved it, and Mickey became really popular.
How's it going? My name's Crush, and I work for Pixar. Pixar was founded in 1979 when we hired Dr. Ed Catmull from the New York Institute of Technology. Our first films were being produced by Lucasfilms, such as Star Trek II. Later, in 1986, Pixar was purchased by Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs paid $5 million to George Lucas to pay for the company. This was right after he left Apple Computer. He was looking to do something with his money. Back in '91, we made our first deal with Disney. For $26 million, we were going to make Toy Story. Pixar's first 5 movies grossed more than $2.5 billion. When Pixar started working for Disney, Pixar was responsible for creation, while Disney did marketing and distribution. Initially, profits and productions were split 50-50.
On January 24, 2006, Disney announced that it agreed to buy Pixar for $7.4 billion.
7.4
billion. That'll make us a lot of money. That's kind of lots of money. Wow, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna be rich.
Pixar paid $7.4 billion in stock to Disney. After the Pixar shareholders' approval, acquisition was completed on May 5th of 2006. There were some other points concerning the deal.
If Pixar pulled out of the deal, they would be required to pay Disney a penalty of $210 million.
To ensure the Pixar name will continue, the studio remains in Emeryville, California, with the Pixar sign.
Any films after the merger will be named Disney Pixar.
Some of the deals which Pixar and Disney agreed upon include
production costs of the film would be co-financed by Disney and Pixar.
Both companies would own the pictures 50-50, while Disney would have exploitation and distribution rights.
Before dividing the profits, Disney would recover marketing and distribution costs.
Both companies would have mutual control over development of derivative works of films under agreements.
A distribution fee of 12% was paid to Disney apart from the other fees and costs agreed by the companies. Most importantly, the 5 original computer-animated full-length features would be produced and would be distributed by Disney.
The pictures were to be co-branded by both companies. The profits will be shared equally for picture, merchandise, and ancillary products.
Alright, fine. Yes, fine, we'll do a merger.
So, there you have it. Some background from the characters themselves. Now, let's take a look at the analysis and the rationale for these acquisitions between Pixar and Disney.
As we just saw, Disney paid a high price, $7.4 billion to be exact, for Pixar. Bob, what do you say to your shareholders who have concerns considering your past acquisitions that have been less fruitful?
The important thing for the company to do is to create high-quality content. And, within that sort of strategic imperative is to make sure that animation is healthy at the company. And the one way to do that was to... Pixar has an array of talent and story that is unrivaled in the business. And for animation to get right at Disney, I really felt strongly about bringing Pixar in, and that was the reasoning behind it.
Thanks, Bob. Kristin, recently I read an article, When to Ally and When to Acquire. Have you heard of it?
I also read that article. Let's apply the framework to this case.
Good idea.
Disney's access to Pixar's animation experience and Pixar's access to Disney's distribution channels were at the heart of the acquisition. Pixar develops the films while Disney marketed and distributed them. These sequential synergies allows each party to rely on the other's strength, and therefore the framework says equity alliance.
I would agree. The people at Pixar are central to the resources and their animation success, while Disney provides hard resources such as deep pockets, strong distribution networks, and marketing expertise. Therefore, the framework says acquisition.
All right. Disney came to the realization that Pixar was simply better at the process of making animated movies. Toy Story was definitely better than Big Brother Bear, in my opinion, at the box office.
I would agree.
Both firms had equipment and resources to create these movies. When companies have a large amount of redundant resources, they should opt for acquisitions or mergers to give executives complete control over decision-making and allowing them to get rid of these redundant resources easily. Therefore, the framework says acquisition.
With the partnership between the two companies, Pixar accounted for 45% of the $1 billion in operating income of Disney's movie studios between 2000 and 2003. While Disney's computer-animated films have had little box office success, Pixar has a proven track record, with award-winning nominations such as A Bug's Life, Finding Nemo, Toy Story, and Monsters, Inc. Through this acquisition, Disney can minimize market uncertainty. Therefore, framework says acquisition.
All right. Disney had to buy Pixar, not only for the direct advantage of access to Pixar's talents, but also to keep its competition from making the acquisition and essentially wiping out Disney's ability to sell animated movies that moviegoers want to see. Before Bob Iger began talks with Steve Jobs, Pixar was at a crossroads of planning to seek other partners for distribution of their movies due to disagreements with Disney's former CEO, Eisner. If suitors were in line for Pixar, the framework says acquisition.
In conclusion, acquisition, with a score of 4 out of 5. Now back to Ron Burgundy.
So, there you have it from our industry experts. Now, let's take a look at the analysis of whether the governance structure was appropriate given the rationale.